Om Ajnanatimandasya Chansalasaya Chakshvanmritam Yena Tasmai Shrigavam Chichitayamanopistam Staptam Yena Bhutam Svamupagadayam Dadati Svapalantikam Vandeham Shio Shio Dada Kamalam Shio Vaishnavam Shilpam Jagajatam Sagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Sabhutam Varjana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shikshakam Vitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jatpate Go Krishna Kopya Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Saptakanshna Kavanakira Devindavanashri Vishwani Siddhadevi Panamama Gaitri Vanka Kalpavishya Kripasin Vaisha Patanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dhamma Shivasi Gautam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vinod Nam Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Pachari Nirvishesha Nirvali Pachachani Desatani Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, today, this morning we started with chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. So we will go over the main points again as a recap based on slides. So this section that we went over this morning is Arjuna's lamentation. So it starts with Arjuna's compassion. Srila Prabhupada writes, Arjuna's lamentation for the bodies of his relatives were signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. So Krishna said to Arjuna, you are a non-Aryan. An Aryan is one who knows the values of life, who knows the goal of life is Krishna. And therefore, they have an Aryan civilization is a civilization based on spiritual realization. Therefore, Krishna gave us the Varnashram system as a basis to come to goodness, and from there he gave us 4 social orders and 4 ashrams. Ashrams means ashrams for spiritual advancement. Krishna said to Arjuna, your problem is weakness of heart. So Arjuna wanted to be non-violent on the grounds of magnanimity for respectable superiors and relatives. But Krishna considers such magnanimity weakness of heart, indicating Arjuna's impotence as Kshatriya, his heavy words. But it is an etiquette, that's true. One should respect superiors. So Arjuna argues that according to etiquette, one should not fight with worshipful superiors and superiors, yeah. So how is it possible to fight with them in a battle? Krishna himself would never attack his own grandfather, Ugrasen, or his teacher, Sandipani. Why is he expecting Arjuna this? So we know that the miscalculation here is that he thinks they are respectable, but they lost their respectability because they transgressed all rules of religion. That a teacher gives the example, but they show the opposite. There's a problem. That, so then Arjuna was undecided, but fit for liberation. Interesting. Srila Prabhupada writes that Arjuna was undecided as to whether or not he should fight. Such consideration by Arjuna proved that he was not only a great devotee of the Lord, that he was highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and sense. So we learn in the sixth chapter, one has control over mind and senses, and he tolerates everything. He is fit for liberation. We will also hear that in a few verses. Yamina Gyatantite Purusham Purushaksharam Samdukaskantam Suntatva. One who can tolerate so-called happiness in his presence for is fit for liberation. So, but he was undecided. This is the fifth reason for not fighting he gives. That, so he was perplexed, and he could not solve his perplexity. Arjuna could understand that his affection for his family members causing his perplexity. Because of this miserly weakness, he could not discharge his duty of fighting. Therefore, he decided to approach the bona fide spiritual master, in this case Lord Krishna, in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the signs of the soul. So he accepted Krishna as a spiritual master in Krishna's mind. Arjuna could not solve his problem with arguments. With scholarship, one cannot solve the problems of life. Only a bona fide spiritual master who knows the signs of Krishna consciousness can give a permanent solution to the problems. Such a goal should be accepted regardless of situation. And now we come at the first instruction is Krishna gives to Arjuna. So Krishna takes now the role of a spiritual master, because he has been accepted as Arjuna's spiritual master. And the first point that Krishna makes is chastising his disciple. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavan Uvacha Ashosyan Ambachoshastam Vakyavalam Sahasase Gatasun Agatasun Sha Nanashosyan Pandita. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise neither lament for the living nor for the dead. So Krishna takes the position of spiritual master and is indirectly calling Arjuna through. But he says, a learned person knows that the body is temporary and that the soul is eternal. Therefore, he does not lament. We will hear that a little further. Krishna will go deeper into that. He'll say, you think you can kill, You can kill Vishmadev, but you cannot slay Vishmadev. Not with any weapons in your chariot, because the soul cannot be slain. That the soul, it came into existence. It never came into existence. It exists now and it will never cease to exist. Yeah, eternal. So yes, that Vedic knowledge is was known already millions of years ago. Even the demons, they followed the Vedic culture, and they had knowledge of the soul. That, like we have here, these are after the Hiranyaksha was killed by Varadi. Then Hiranyakashipu was trying to console the widows of the queens of Hiranyaksha. And what is he telling them? We are going to the seventh count of the Bible. He's saying Hiranyakashipu to these queens who were all lamenting the death of their husband, Hiranyaksha. So he was telling them, living entities join together in a family, but as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to their destinations. Family members are like straws mixed together in whirlpools and later disposed again by the same waves. They float alone in the water. So we are all together. That this being together here, Krishna brings us together, and maybe after this, most of us will never meet again. We don't know, but at least we will not be together in the same group. That will not happen. It's all temporary. Comes and goes. This is material existence. So the spiritual soul, Hiranyakashipu said, has no death, who is eternal and inexhaustible. Being free from material contamination, he can go anywhere in material and spiritual worlds. He knows that. Hiranyakashipu, interesting. The soul is different from the material body. That's Bhagavad Gita 13:22. Being misled by the slight independence, the living entity is infected with the modes of nature and is born in different families and species of life. Karanam guna sangvasya sat asat janmasum. By the agitation of the mind by the material modes, the living entity thinks that he has changed from one condition to another. Avikala Umam Atma, the spirit soul, is always unchanged. Manodharma, the spirit soul carried away by mental activities suffers from so-called conditional material. This by the contamination of our minds. We will learn in the 8th chapter of Bhakti. Yam yam bhavi Yam yam bhavi sambhatyam bhavam. Tam tam vete kantiya sat sarva bhavavatam. Yam yam bhavi sambhavam tayam anti kaleva. Tam tam vete kantiya tata sat bhavavatam. Whatever state of mind you have at the time of death, you will attain again next life. So our contaminated mind creates the next body. Yes. Yeah, he knew these things. He was shy, in his previous life, a gatekeeper of Vaikuntha, that he knew. But Krishna brought him under illusion so that he could play his role very nicely as a demon. Because the reason for this is this giant Vijay, they are essence of Vaikuntha, and the only thing they want is to serve the Lord. And they knew that everything what is in us is all the qualities we have are also in Krishna, but unlimited. So Krishna must also desire to fight something, to have a good fight. And that cannot be done in Vaikuntha. So they had a desire to fight with them. Of course, Krishna wants also to fight sometimes in what, and that cannot be done in the spiritual world, in the material world. But who can fight with Krishna? All these demons in this world are very weak. Therefore, he needed a big devotee who was very strong. Anyway, but the point is here, I'm reading here from the Bhagavata. So Bhagavad Gita gives us the basic knowledge, but how to realize it, you must study the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada constantly refers to Bhagavad Gita. Thus, how to practice Bhagavad Gita, it's all there. Therefore, we must study also the Bhagavad. And at the same time, Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada said in the morning Bhagavatam, in the evening Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Bewildered, the living entity accepting the body and the mind to be the self considers some people its kinsmen and others to be outsiders. And thus he suffers happiness and distress. But that lamentation, foolishness, and anxiety are due to material considerations. Because all our suffering in this world is due to the mind and the body. But the soul is not suffering. The suffering appears into the mind. And we are identifying with the mind. And therefore, we think we are the body and we suffer. That's theory. But we must come to the practical point. Cease doing that. And we'll learn about that in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So that was the first point. This was 11. I will read one quote of Prabhupada from a lecture where he is referring to this verse. Similarly, Krishna, just after taking the position of the spiritual master, is designating Arjuna as a total fool. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, my spiritual master found me great fool. Was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a fool? Is it possible that anyone can become the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Both are impossible. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even not accepting him as an incarnation of Krishna, if you simply accept him as an ordinary scholar or man, there was no comparison of his scholarship. But he said that my spiritual master found me great fool. What does it mean? A person, even in my position, always remains a fool before his spiritual master. That is good for him. Nobody should impose that, what do you know? I know better than you. That's dangerous. But you must say in this verse 11, the Lord is, well, Lord Krishna is rejecting the body conception of life. He's telling Arjuna, you are a fool because you are a soul, you are not his body, and the soul is eternal. Very simple thing. So take note of that, because now we will hear the next verse. And Mayavadi's impersonalist misuse that next verse. But it doesn't make sense because Krishna already rejected the body conception of life in this verse. That, no, 12. Yes?
Spirit soul identified with the body and the mind. But if the spirit soul is a part and parcel of Krishna, why does that happen?
That is because of free will. We have a mind that's free will to connect with the material energy or the spiritual energy. But we are under the influence. We will learn that in chapter 15. At the end, Krishna will say, there are the infallible and the fallible. The infallible are those spirit souls in the spiritual world. The fallible are in the material world. Fallible means that we come under the influence of illusion. And illusion means the mode of passion and ignorance. So our consciousness, our spirit soul is pure. But when it becomes contaminated by these modes, we start to identify with the body. And it's this contamination of consciousness. The spirit soul can never contaminated by matter. The consciousness becomes covered. The pure consciousness becomes covered. It's like Krishna. Krishna is compared to the sun. No, we don't see the sun. That is the sun covered by clouds? No, our vision is covered. Same thing. Our consciousness becomes covered over. Our pure consciousness is still there, but it becomes contaminated by this material nature. And why does that happen? It's because of us. And that will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhakti. Bhakti Prakriti Jan Gunan. We become in contact with material nature because we want to exploit and enjoy the body. And that's that. So the only thing that has to be done is to remove the contamination. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is about. That Arjuna is covered by this situation, by this.
Only the body and the mind suffer. The soul does not suffer.
No, but because the soul, because it's covered, starts to identify, and in the 3rd chapter we will hear about how this happens through lust. It's covered. It starts to identify with the body and the mind, and then we suffer. I can tell you many stories about that, but then what I'm going to tell you later, you have to be a little patient. We will come to all these things in detail, because that's the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how to make us free from that. Good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember the chapter, but it's Canto 7, and I think it's the 1st or 2nd chapter. Second, I think it's the 2nd. Okay, 12. Natvevam Shatuna Shanatvam Nimichanati Dipan Ashevana Bhavishma Sarva Panamata. So never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So here, Krishna says, we are individuals. We have been individuals in the past, we are individuals now, and we will never cease to be individuals. That it says, you, Arjuna, all these kings and I have existed in the past, existing now, and will never cease to exist. Past, present, future. That, yeah. So if yes, it means we are all individuals, but my impersonalists, Mayavadi philosophers, they say that this individual consciousness is due to illusion. That, but Krishna says here, no, it's you were individuals in the past, now, and in the future. And that, so if this is, if individual consciousness would be due to illusion, then Krishna is also an illusion, right? And if Krishna is an illusion, can the Bhagavad Gita then be an authoritative scripture? It doesn't make sense. But the Mayavadis say we accept authority of Bhagavad Gita. That it's contradictory. They also say that the plurality mentioned in this verse, that it's conventional, they say. It refers to the body. They say it refers to the body. But Krishna has rejected the body conception in the previous verse. That doesn't make sense. That after condemning the body conception of life and calling Arjuna fool, how is it possible that Krishna is going to place a conventional proposition on the body again? No. So these are arguments to defeat impersonalism, and Krishna will be very strong about his impersonalism. In the 9th chapter, he will say, 9:11, Avachanti mam dhaman man shintanam ashuta. That those who do not recognize my position and would think that I'm impersonal are mudas, fools, Krishna says. Very clear in the 9th chapter. So this is important to note that what I explain now, because that may be, I've seen many times as a question in the exam.
So he said,
Yeah, that's even more clear, very clear. That, yeah. Okay, text. That was 12. And now 13. That's a verse we all know. That Deinam svinchata kaunam chalvam shadam tatatyatatatiyastatranam. I think that's a memorization verse. Usually you have to memorize this verse. But it's good to memorize all these verses because these are very essential. Not Vevam, not Shun, not Masham, not Chanati, not Shun, not Selvan, you, Arjuna, all these things have existed in the past, now and in the future. And all the innocence that they come down, Shatman, Charan, so Krishna tells us, as embodied soul continually passing this body from Goya to youth, it's still continually passing to another body of death. so the person is not bewildered by such change. So Krishna says you have to become a Dira Sadhana. You have to tolerate all these changes. As a person is action, tolerate avoid. May think, yeah, the spirit soul is eternal. Like I see this body is now 63 years old. I think, yeah, do I feel old? No, because we are eternal. That so yes, a sober person should not be bewildered by such change. So Krishna uses this as an example of the body changes. The body changes every moment. Every second, cells are dying, new cells are created. Who is doing that? The super soul. Super soul controls all these things. Every moment we change. But this is, but of course, yeah, most people intuitively they know I'm not a body. Because every cell of your body changes every 7 years. Every 7 years you are reincarnated. You get a different body every 7 years. That your body changes. You don't go. You go to the bank. You take a loan, right? And you sign the document. And after 8 years, you go back and say, I'm not the same person anymore. I'm not going to pay. All my cells changed, right? No, we know we are different from the body. So Krishna uses this analogy or this example to show how the body changes, and the soul remains the same. Therefore, Arjuna should not lament for Bhishma Dev, for Drona, that they will simply change bodies. And in the battle, if they fight for Krishna, they will get spiritual bodies. Their spiritual body will be revived. Or they will get heavenly bodies. They go to heaven. They will get better bodies. So it's a reason to be joyful. It's not a reason to lament. So because the spirit soul is eternally a fragmental part. It doesn't change. We will hear it cannot be cut into pieces. So Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Arjuna is a fragmental part. If both of them would be under the illusory illusion, then the idea of one being the instructor and the other being instructed has no meaning. So, yeah. Of course, on this verse there are many quotes. I will read a few quotes, short ones. Srila Prabhupada, Los Angeles, 69. Similarly, everyone will be captured by the laws of nature, but the devotee will be carried with great care to Vaikuntha, and others will be thrown again into material existence. So, dear Satranamurti, It's a very simple thing. Suppose a young man, a boy changes in his body, all these symptoms. Just like a boy has no mustache or beard, but still all of a sudden he grows hair. Does he cry? Oh, why am I growing hair? Why am I growing? Interesting. But of course, Krishna says, you have to become a deer. That's our first instruction in spiritual life. Tolerate. And in the next verse, Krishna will explain the importance of being tolerant. And in the verse thereafter, he will explain if you can tolerate, you are ready for liberation. That's very important. So we have verse 14. Matra spasiti kantiana sitasnam sukadvana agamabri justam stitikshvavada. The son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress in their disappearance in due course, unlike the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons, they arise from sense perception of time and power. And one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So he's saying to Arjuna, yeah, you have to tolerate all these inconveniences while doing your duty, all this happiness and distress. You imagine that the happiness of enjoying with your relatives and the distress of having to kill them. So if one does that, it will bring one to the platform of knowledge, which leads to liberation from the clutches of mind. That will bring you out of illusionity. Why is that? Because we are conditioned by our attachment and aversion, by the happiness and distress. We want the happiness of the body, we don't want the pain of the body. But that's the body concept of time. So we should not act to avoid distress. We should not act to get happiness for the body. We should act as a spirit soul. We should act to please Krishna. And forget about his body. And Krishna will take care of it. He says that he will take care of it. That does not mean that we don't need to care for the body. The body is a gift of Krishna to perform devotional service. And you must keep it in the best order. You must keep the machine running nicely, but not use the machine for self-enjoyment. Then you are on the source of the body. Just keep it running nicely so that we can do our service. So that's 14. There are many quotes of Srila Prabhupada. I read a few of them. The devotees of the Lord do not regard the very troublesome the suffering he imposes on them. Indeed, they find that in the end it gives rise to unlimited pleasure, just as stinging ointment applied by a doctor cures his patient eyes. Which Vishwanath Gita comments. It is at night that the sunrise becomes attractive. During hot summer, that cold water gives comfort, and during cold winter, that warm water is pleasing. A lamplight appears attractive in darkness, and when one is disturbed by hunger, food tastes especially good. So To strengthen the devotee's mood dependence on him and longing for him, the Lord arranges with the devotees to go through some suffering, and when he appears to deliver them, their gratitude and constant hope. This is another quote. Our preacher tolerates Pura and tapas, Buddhist. In Scandinavia, it's very cold. In Norway, it's always raining. Elsewhere, it is sometimes too hot. Sometimes the devotee meets nasty demons who want to beat him up. Even if someone is nasty, you have to be detached. That is tapasya. You are always nice, even if the people are not. That's quite an exercise. I remember when I was in trouble many years ago, my teacher instructed me, and that instruction is in line with this is first instruction, important instruction. But whatever happens in your life, good or bad, take it as a mercy question. That's a very important instruction. We should not take this happiness and distress of the body serious. Soon we are out of this body. It's all temporary. It comes and goes. That's all. That it's never permanent. Yeah. And if we can do that, then we become spiritually advanced. Krishna, he put his expenses in the next verse. Yamina Yadatamti Krishna. Samdukaskambyam Sumtatya Kalpate. O best among man, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steadily involved is certainly a principle of liberation. So when we study determination that to become advanced, that and he equally tolerates his happiness and his stress, and he's ready for liberation. In the Bhagavatam, this is more detailed. Lord Brahma speaks about that. In some like that, I can come to that. I'm quite over the Brahma states. So, there, Lord Brahma said, yes, one who thinks, yes, I deserve this because it's due to my past misdeeds. And Krishna is so kind, he gives me only a token, a little. But I am responsible. This is the reaction of what I did before. And I deserve it, Krishna. I should suffer for it. But you are so kind. You give me only a little. If we have this mood, then liberation comes our rightful claim of us. So that is see, I think here. This is because this verse is becoming a deer. I want to make the connection with the Bhagavatam every time. I will do that many times to show you the ABCs Bhagavad Gita, how to practice it, we find in the Bhagavatam. Therefore, we should study the Bhagavatam. So, and then advance in the practice of the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Very important. So in the fifth canto of the Bhagavatam, you have the teachings of Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev had 100 sons, and the first was Bharat. But he was teaching his 100 sons, and he was teaching them that Tapo Divyam, you should do divine austerities. That means austerities to attain a platform of devotional service. Austerities to attain a platform of devotional service. What is devotional service? Devotional service. Service is external, devotion is internal. Without internal, it's not bhakti. You understand? But to get the internal, we must purify our heart. If we are performing service and we are thinking already about to enjoy the prasad and this and that, we think of it enjoyment, then that's not devotional service. No, devotional service, devotional. It will only grow when these thoughts of sense gratification are out of our mind. It's like sense gratification is high, our spiritual advancement is slow. So we must perform tapas. Follow the four regulated principles that will bring it already a little down. And we should hear about Krishna. And as sense gratification goes down, our spiritual advancement takes place. But it's not the sahajas, they want it cheap, they want this sense gratification and Krishna. But that's not going together. But no. Therefore we must perform tapo divyam. Tapo divyam means divine austerities to attain devotional service, means sadhana. Sadhana means doing 4 things. You remember the 4 things you have to do every day? Chant your rounds, regulated principles, read Bhagavatam, and do service. If you don't do these 4 things every day, you are not following properly the process. Then your tapo divyam or divine service will not be fruitful. You have chanting, hearing, and devotion service. You must hear to understand who Krishna is, who we are, and what our relationship is. And it's not easy to know. Krishna can only be known by Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, 1154 and 1816, and Bhakti Amam the Samatya. That's what I can. But we have to follow this process to attain devotional service. So the path of liberation from material bondage is rendering service to advanced spiritual personalities. That's the process. We are rendering service to our spiritual master, not directly to Krishna. When we do puja, we are not doing, we should not think I'm doing puja. No, the pujari, what does he do? He has first, before opening an article, he has permission from his spiritual master, so his spiritual master. Then he has permission of Prabhupada. And then he's asking permission of Nityananda. and he sees himself as an assistant of the spiritual master, and then it is a rendering of service to advance spiritual person. Never think yourself doing this. You are just assisting of spiritual master, because Krishna is completely pure, and we are not pure. That the spiritual master is pure, and we assist them, and therefore Krishna accepts it. That, so as long as one does not inquire about spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance. One must have knowledge. What's the cause? Why am I suffering? It are reactions of our past misdeeds. And we should not make the same mistake now. So one must accomplish virtues while tolerating inconveniences like happiness and distress. This will bring one on the platform of knowledge, which leads to liberation from the clutches of mind. So that's the principle. Yes, because if we act for happiness and distress, we are under the illusory energy. If we tolerate it, this happiness and distress and serve Krishna, we are not under the influence of energy or illusion. This is what's strange here. And then eligibility for liberation. A person who is not disturbed by happiness. Yes. That should not be the guide in our life. The happiness and distress of the world. But we have to know we are not destroying. Of course, everyone wants happiness in this world. Do we get always the happiness we want? And this version of it. There's nowadays instructions for the answer. One should seek for that happiness which is not available in this world, from the lowest to the highest planet. Because happiness comes on its own accord. We don't have to seek it. Like distress comes on its own accord. Does someone here want distress? No, we don't want. But still it comes. That in the same time, happiness will come. It comes and goes. That, for example, who said yes, the caravan passes and the dogs are barking, but still the caravan passes. So we have just to let it go. So there is also distress. Why? We are not in control of our happiness. Distress of the body. It's Krishna who gives the happiness and distress because of our past deeds. Exactly what we deserve. And we are helpless. That we should understand. We are helpless. We will learn in the 13th chapter. Karya kartit vedit bhakti uchate uchate galukanam bhakti vedit uchate. So nature is said to be the cause of material causes and effect. Okay, material nature is doing that. But who is the cause of our happiness and distress? We are the cause of our happiness and distress. Uchate galukadam bhakti vedit uchate. And why are we the cause of the happiness and distress? Bhakti faith. We want to enjoy and exploit the material world. And the reaction is happiness and distress. And the small fine-tuned, we will hear in the 5th chapter, yei samspasya bo. Ja, yei samspasya dukkan yonya evatatyan pantakantya nantishvamati. Yei samspasya dukkan. When you want to enjoy this world, the reaction is suffering. So think of it. I'm going to enjoy this. You will suffer. But we like pizza. Be careful. Of course, when it is fresh out, there's no reaction. But we are honoring fresh out, not eating it. It's called honoring. Why is called like that? If we take fresh out, we should be in a peaceful environment. And we should taste very nice the prasad. It's a meditation of how Krishna tasted the prasad. We should meditate. Then so on. Life is for enjoyment. One must know the spiritual outcome. And this enjoyment is attained in our relationship with Krishna in spiritual ecstasy. That spiritual ecstasy comes when the heart is clean, is peaceful. And now Krishna starts to instruct about the soul. Yeah, anyway, what's the quality of the happiness in this world? See, the 522 I just quoted. Why are we averse to distress and in favor of happiness? What's the cause of this attachment, aversion? Why is this? Krishna says attachment and aversion, raga, vesha, are struggling blocks on the path of self-realization. 3rd chapter, text 34. Attachment and aversion. I'm attached to what gives pleasure to the body, and I don't want what gives me distress. If it feels good, I do it. It's identification with the mind. Very dangerous. That's the symptom of one who is in the illusion. Feels good. Feels good. Eating meat, let me kill thousands of cows. It feels good. Very dangerous. And how to overcome that, we will discuss at the end of the 3rd chapter in detail. Krishna gives very clear instructions what to do. Yeah. We should understand that it's not a purpose that we feel good. It's the purpose that Krishna is pleased. And if you feel good, that's okay. Oh, that's well, how do we know? I tell you a few things. That's like many here are mothers. Mothers are taking care of the child, right? To take care of the child out of love. It's not that you tell the child, I want something back. No, you are only giving. That's very nice. And gives a good feeling in the heart, right? Mm-hmm. Who gives that good feeling? It's Krishna. Krishna is giving. The symptom is, if you are really pleasing Krishna, you do feel such. But If you don't feel satisfied, something is wrong. Something, because mostly we are mixed, not pure. But it's like, yes, this for Krishna, this for me, this for Krishna, this for me. It's a problem. In the beginning, it's like that. It's like that, and Krishna will tell about that in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Shato Gita, Santanam Yechna Svitakyanam, Akhta Shiknasha, Bhakti Janisa Bharatash. There are four kinds of people who come to me with material motives. The distressed, those who are curious, those who want love, and those who want the absolute truth, know the absolute truth. And we are all in that case. We come to this movement usually through these four things. We want, because we don't know what's the soul and what's the happiness of the soul. So our motive is not pure, but our desire or motive will be purified by healing God. You will come to the place. Therefore, this Bhakti Sastri study is very important. You will hear about that in nectar of devotion. Anya Vilasa Sunyam Kyan Kamatanatam Anupurina Krishna Siyana Bhakti Uttama Gopaswami said pure devotional service is service rendered to Krishna without asking something in return, without material motive, with not asking liberation, nothing. That just to please Krishna favorably. But to do that, we must be pure. Therefore, Narada Muni says, Sarvopal Vinirmutam Tatpayat from Nirman Vishkina Rishikesh, Srivanam Bhakti, pure devotional service is acting without upadis, without thinking that you are the body. You must think you are a servant Krishna. There are so many layers of false evil around the soul you have to remove. That's the process of purification. Oops. Next chapter, we will learn that. That's called karma yoga. You identify with the body, but you start using the body for Krishna's service. So we have all psychophysical nature. And we are good in something, but mostly there's also what you like, what you are good in. But that's liking is a stumbling block. But still, if what you are good in, you start to use that in the service of Krishna, then you become purified. Then the heart will become purified. I'm speaking about 20-30 years, usually. Unless you are advanced and it is time and you can close quickly. But usually it takes half a lifetime just to purify your heart from closest contamination. So it's no problem when we are impure. Just the question how to use our abilities in Krishna's service. That I give you an example. I don't speak often about myself, but this is an example. This is something I experienced. When I joined, because before I joined, I was a chartered accountant. Was an accountant, not a chartered. But my spiritual master, Bhakti, asked me to become a chartered accountant. and to take care of all legal things and administration of the Radha's projects. And there are many just corporations there to take care of it. But yeah, I had to go to become a chartered accountant. I was accountant, a diploma, but you had to go a book period in an accountancy office. And I was brahmachari in Radha. But I had one material desires, not many at the time. One of the desires was I like to drive big cars. I was driving a BMW. And Krishna knew that. So I had to drive. I had to go 3 times a week to that accountancy office. And that was about 200 miles one way, 200 miles back, 400 miles, 600 miles a week. I did that for 18 months, using my desire to drive big cars in Krishna service. Over these 18 months, I never wanted it. I was just following the instruction of my spiritual master. And Krishna takes care. Good. So, this attachment and aversions we'll speak about in the 3rd chapter. There are also spiritual lives in this life that you will learn in nectar instruction. Very important instruction. What's good for the soul, what's bad for the soul. What you have to reject, what we have to do and not to do. That anyway, you will see that in nectar instruction. That 16, verse 15. O wisdom man, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by misunderstood and studying both his soul and his work of liberation. 16. Naska Vichave Bhava Navaho Vichate Sadavell Bhavishnantas Panas Patpanas. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent and material body there is no endurance of the eternal, and of the eternal there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So yes, that is mentioned here. The soul never changes, and the body always changes. That is essential. The soul is kutastha, steady. So, in the purport, goes the second paragraph. This is the beginning of the instruction of the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Removal of ignorance involves the re-establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of the difference between the past and partial living entities and the Supreme Personality of God. So we are the energy of the body, and Krishna is the energetic. You see here the energetic, the powerhouse, and the energy. So one can understand the nature of the Supreme by thorough study of oneself. The difference between oneself and the Supreme being understood as the relationship between the part and the whole. in the Vedanta Sutra, as well as the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural sequence. The living entities belong to the superior nature, as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as supreme, and energy or nature is accepted as subordinate. The living entities, therefore, are always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as in the case of the master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance. And to drive away ignorance, the Lord teaches by Bhakti for the enlightenment of all the living entities. So I always say, this is an iPhone, and many apps, right? Many apps. But without internet, what's the use of the apps? It needs to be connected, right? So what's the use of us if we are not connected to Krishna? We are useless. So the energy should be connected with the energetic. And that's called yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Connection. Linking up. You have to link up with Krishna. In the Bhagavatam, we will hear of the linking process of devotion service. It links you up with the source of spiritual energy. And that's devotional service, is devotion connects us. And once we are connected, we are happy. We want all to be happy. Prabhupada asked once for the devotees, who wants to become happy? Some devotees were thinking, it's a tricky question, nobody answers. So Prabhupada asked again, who wants to become happy? Nobody had that. Prabhupada asked the 3rd time, who wants to become happy? And when the devotee hesitated in the area, raised his hand and said, Prabhupada, I want to. Prabhupada said, oh, one normal person. But it's not that we want to go. But we have to see the happiness, not in this world, but in our relationship with Krishna. That is that. So yes. So that is a point that where impersonalists and personalists, they agree on that the body is changing and the soul is eternal. 17. Avinastu tatviti ena sarvam tam tatam vinasamapya swasana kachikamanasi. That which pervades the entire body should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So that's the source of consciousness. That's in a further is explained. The soul is atomic in size, 1/10,000th of a tip of a hair, but it is antimatter. You cannot see it through a microscope. That's not possible because it's not material, it's spiritual. 1/10,000th of a point of a hair, and that's in the heart. That's what we are. We are not much, very small. And that's the cause of the consciousness in the body. And it's in the heart. And in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada explains all the medical men, they agree that the heart is the center of all energy. There you have the blood transfusion from creation of blood, red blood cells or whatever. And through the bloodstream, this consciousness from the soul is spread all over the body. So wherever you have feeling, means there's blood and there's consciousness. So that's so, but of course, that consciousness spreads itself over the body. So we are conscious of that if someone touches me, I feel, oh yeah, someone is touching me. Yes. But I'm only conscious of my body. We will hear later in the 13th chapter. We are not the only soul in the heart. There's also the super soul. Krishna is always with us. It's amazing. We are searching Krishna everywhere, but it's in our heart. He's with us. So why not speak with him? Krishna, we will hear Krishna saying in the 15:15, Sarvasa Samgadisham Vishnamata Smitranamapam, Omikam Swanamya knowledge and forgetfulness. So yes, if you serve Krishna and there's something you don't remember, you can pray to Krishna. Krishna, please, I need this for your service. Kindly help me. See what happens. Many times gives you try that. But be conscious. You are not alone. Krishna is Anumanta, is the permitter, and he sees everything you do. And God is seeing you everywhere. There was this, I think it was in the line of Sri Ramanujacharya. One spiritual master said to the 3 disciples, and he gave them an apple and said, you eat this apple when no one sees you. And 3, they disappeared, and 2 of them were quite quickly back. But the 3rd one stayed away 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and finally came back, and I said to his spiritual master, I cannot do it. Krishna sees me everywhere. He had spiritual consciousness. So it pervades the entire body, 17. So consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul. Of course, we know that a living body minus consciousness is dead. The soul is gone. The person is gone. In the 80s, I was working, beginning of the 90s. I was the head of administration in a hospital, in a geriatric department. And there were 180 residents, most between 80 and 90 years old. And I was the head of the administration. And so, yes, I was every week I had to make the last invoice of some of the residents. One departure every week. You have to make the last invoice, body by everything. That was that made me more sober. And at the same time, I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam. But then one time, there was one resident, he was going to leave his body, and his daughter was there. And at the moment, you could see his eyes. The eyes break. The last breath is coming out of his mouth, and the soul is gone. And the daughter started to cry, he has gone, my father has gone. Nice to say that your father is gone. So the father is not his body, he has gone. Where did he go? Why did you not recognize it? Why he was alive? So yes, but you know, 18. Antavamti meje nityasyotasayana sinapane yasyatamayutyaspravata. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come an end. Therefore, fight the sons of bad. Neither evil things living entity is slain. No evil things it's slain, is in knowledge. For the self slays, not no is slain. And then this is this last. So Krishna is saying this spiritual cannot be killed. That and the material body cannot be saved. Interesting. But therefore, we should always think every moment and we have to go. What's the use of accumulating things? We should be very sober as devotees. That this heart is beating. Who is beating this heart? It's Krishna, we heard from Bhagavad Krishna Bhakti. He makes it beat every moment. And it's beating since our birth. That we don't know when it's going to stop. It can be every moment. That so the devotee thinks every moment, and we have to go. So what's the use to try to achieve something in this world? No, I want to serve Krishna. And when I think of Krishna, I remain with Krishna in the next life. There's no interruption in the devotion service. We are fixed on Krishna. So yes. Na Jayati Vichapeva Kadachina Yamutva Vitvam Yogichas. Like I said, this is this verse we find also in the Katha Upanishads. So by that we can understand how, because Bhagavad Gita is also called Gita Upanishad. It's the essence of all spiritual knowledge. For the soul is neither but. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. It's unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. It's not slain when the body is slain. And that's difficult to understand for us, because everything in this material world has a beginning and an end. And we are used to think in these terms, but we never had a beginning. And we never have an end. That is just not existing in the material world. And we cannot conceive that. But that's the reality. Of course, and Srila Prabhupada mentions that here. Okay, the body has to come to an end, and the soul cannot be killed. The body has come to an end, so I can start killing everyone. No, killing of the body is condemned by the Vedic scripture. That is punishable by the law of the state, and it's also punishable by Krishna. Of course, this is a war situation, and this Krishna ordered. But that was Krishna's mercy. All those who die on the battlefield go back to the spiritual world. that is specialness. But if don't see the bottle of etc., fruit, etc., like the ordinary wolves that we have this today on this earth, nothing to do with it. No, they are fighting because of the subjects that they were, yeah, Aryans. They knew but that. So, so everything now in the next class we have an analogy. Veda vinashinam nityam yayinam apyam katam sa purusa partha kam kata yati huntikam. O Partha, person who knows that soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable, kill anyone, so or cause anyone to kill. So how can a person kill someone if the soul is indestructible? But here we have a case of violence. Yes, violence. Okay. But first we go back to 217. 217 explains that the soul is 1/10,000 of point of a hair within the area of the in the Bhagavad, the Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling 5 kinds of air encircling the pure soul. So one can say that this is important. You have the soul, how is it in the heart? And someone asked if Prabhupada also, if someone does a heart transplant, is the soul transplanted? No. The soul is kept in place in the area of the heart by 5 kinds of air. These are very subtle airs. Even the scientists are still to discover these subtle airs. And they are called here Pran, Udan, Vyan, Saman, Apan. And the yogis who perform breathing exercises. And by these breathing exercises, they learn, those who are expert in it, very rarely to find today. That may have few on this planet, but not many. They are able through these breathing exercises to move the soul from one chakra to another. Different chakras, the heart, and from the randra on the top and over, anyway. But they can move it, and the yogis, they can bring by these breathing exercises, pranayama, so they can bring the soul to the top of their head, the randra, there is an opening, and they can leave their body at their will at a certain moment and attain certain situations, certain places. If you want to know more about it, Prabhupada wrote this small booklet, Journey to Other Planets. It's all described there. But, so that is something Hatha Yoga, but they can move the soul. So the body cannot be saved, the soul cannot be killed. Of course, we have to live with that knowledge. if you know, it's all I'm here only for a short time. There was this, I forgot his name, this great sage. He got a blessing from Brahma that he would live as many years that there are hairs on his body. Loma, Loma Rishi, yeah. As much as there are hairs on his body. So that's a very long life. That's yeah. And his disciples told the Roman, he was at the Ganga and it was very hot. And his disciples said, let us build um, a bhajan kutir for you, Gurumats, that you don't burn in the sun. And what was Loma Rishi's reply? I'm just for a moment, I won't do that. He had such a big life, long life, but he was conscious. It's still temporal. It will pass. That, that, uh, so we must live with its knowledge. That as unauthorized killing of the body is condemned by the Vedic scripture, is punishable by the law of the state as well as the law of the Lord. Yeah. Yeah, I made this PowerPoint a bit. I've also PowerPoints on the next chapters. But the next chapter, from next chapter onwards, the PowerPoints will contain also commentaries of previous acharyas who have commented on the Bhagavad Gita, and not only Prabhupada's, that's in addition, we'll see. 22:20, the soul is unchanging, whereas the body goes through 6 changes. The soul is not born, but because it takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. So how do we accept a body as a soul? We will learn that in the 13th chapter, because we want to enjoy separate from Krishna. That's the problem. Yes.
The purport, Prabhupada says that the spirit soul is so small that it's possible to kill him. Is that the only reason why it's impossible to kill the soul? Is that it's so small? Or...
No, that's not the only reason. It's spiritual, it's antimatter. That I'll tell you another story. Ravan, Narada Muni has a spiritual body. So the spirit soul, yes, has a spiritual body. It is spiritual body, but it's now unmanifest. But when it becomes manifest, you get a spiritual body. So Narada went to Ravan and said to Ravan, you should give Sita back to Ram, or you will get in trouble. And Ravan became angry. And he took his sword and tried to kill Narada Muni. And he tried and zip his sword went to his body. And Narada Muni was still dancing there. And Ravan told Narada Muni, what kind of body do you have? Oh, Narada Muni said, this is a spiritual body. And Ravan said, can I also get such a body? And Narada said, no problem. You just perform devotional service for Lord Krishna. And Ravan became very angry. Impossible. That,
So what does the spiritual body look like?
well, in the Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, there, near in the middle, more or less, chapter 20, 22, something like that. There is a chapter entitled Description of Vaikuntha, and all the residents of Vaikuntha are described. You can also read Brihad Bhagavatam. All the residents of the spiritual world in the different parts of the spiritual world are described. Of course, also the 10 count of the Bhagavatam.
Planet, what about this body? How would we be able to do that on spiritual planet?
Cannot see spiritual things with this material. Only when our eyes are pointed with Lord Krishna, then we can. Yeah, Miss Vice Mercy made this possible to see. And Krishna, Vice Mercy, appears also in the dating form for that reason, by that we can see him in the dating form. Yeah. Good. We have to continue a bit because we have to cover a lot of material. The soul is unchanging, the body changes, so it's not wrong, because it takes on until the body takes effect. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient. That analogy we find in text 23, in 21, and in the purport there. Still is speaking about violence. Violence also has its utility. And how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Although the justice of peace allows capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of peace cannot be blamed because he orders violence to another person according to the codes of justice. In the Manu Samhita, the law for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. And that therefore the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice. And thus Arjuna should follow the instruction. It's like a surgical operation. The surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient, but to cure him. Similarly, the fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of Krishna will be with full knowledge. So there is no possibility of sinful reaction. So that was one of the points that he made. Devam Papam. I will get simple reactions, he said. But Arjuna is not understanding what's spiritual action and what's material action. If one acts spiritually, then there's no reaction. Like one in time of war, he goes to war and has to kill persons on the order of the state. And then he gets a reward for doing that. But if one kills someone in time of peace, one will be put in prison and have severe consequences. So that's the same principle. If we act for Krishna, there are no reactions. And we become purified by that. And now 22, yeah. Of Samshishanani Chatavyayana Panipinapina Tosayani Pihani Ayachinani. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So, yes, change of body by the atomic soul is made possible by the grace of the supersoul. Supersoul at the time of death, according to your mental situation and desires, what you deserve, brings you to the next destination, brings you to the semen of a man injected in the womb of the woman, and then your body develops. Not always a human. No, you know. So the soul and the supersoul are compared to two birds sitting in a tree. That's is from the Speta Upanishad, the analogy of these two birds. One bird is eating the food, and the other bird is observing and permitting that. So these two birds, although they are friends, one is a master, the other is a servant, and the soul forgets his relationship with being these very hard on the tree of the material body. But as soon as he turns his face to his friend and servant for instruction, he becomes free from all anxiety. And that's what happened. Everyone who took shelter Prabhupada when he was here, all anxieties are going. That they were feeling very happy. And very inspired to devotion. So that was influence of a pure soul, just one pure soul. That is the greatness of God. We surrender to the spiritual master. The surrender means surrender. It's not that, okay, go master, you can ask me what you want, but until here, not Father, not if you ask this, that's not full surrender. That's if one fully surrenders, gives up all aspirations, just wanting to serve the spiritual master Krishna, then one becomes happy, and is bound to become happy. And yes. Sastri 22. Two birds. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But in some way or another, when he turns his face to his friend, the Lord, and knows his glory is at once suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. So that's the effect of getting this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. We get this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. And we practice it in our lives. We become free from anxieties. So Arjuna is advised here by the Lord not to lament for the body chains of his old grandfather and his teacher. And all. Krishna will say, the soul cannot be killed. You have so many weapons in your chariot, Arjuna. Water weapons, fire weapons, arrows, so many weapons, but with none of these weapons you can kill the soul. Right?
Why did Krishna decide to come in the heart? He could have observed that from outside as well.
That when we left the spiritual world, Krishna was with us. He never left us. That's how he loves us. He loves us. Therefore, he goes with us. He never left us. And, and he wants to inspire us to give up this material existence. He arranged this material life as such that you become frustrated. And Krishna is waiting when he's going to give up his tendency to become the enjoyer that I need this service, and Krishna is waiting. But he's like a father. The father, the son wants to do something that the father doesn't want. And the father says, okay, you tried, let's see, but I don't want you to do it. But anyway, you do it. Christians like that. We want to enjoy separate on Christian, yeah, you do it. But yeah, it's it. So that's, yeah, he never left us, Krishna. We are an illusion, so that is there. Yes. Nainam Shindanti Sastri Nainam Rātika Kanāchyam Kiryam Chakunam Shasasa. That the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, or burned by fire, nor moistened by water, not withered by the wind. So no weapon is able to kill the soul. That. Yeah. So, yes, 23. So the Mayavadis cannot explain how the individual soul became covered by the illusory energy. No, it was possible to cut the individual souls from the Supreme Soul. They say you merge with Brahman. The soul cannot be merged with anything. It cannot be broken in pieces. That what happens? This merging into Brahman. It's like you have a green parrot, and the green parrot flies into the foliage of a green tree. Same color. You don't see it anymore. We say it's merged, but it's still there. It's still there. That we cannot merge. You cannot cut the soul. It remains individual. Yes. We are coming from the spiritual world. Our home is the spiritual world. We are Brahman. We are not coming from Brahman. We are Brahman. Krishna is Parabrahman. That, and Krishna will explain that at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Not only at the end. Vedanta tat pavistat vidas tat pangyanam atram prameti paramatmati bhagavan iti sakyate. The absolute truth has three aspects: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahman is Krishna's energy, spiritual energy. And who are we? We are made of Brahman, but who are we? Mamaibam Shoji Veda Krishna Bhagavatasana. Bhagavad Gita 15:7. We are part and parcels of Krishna. So Krishna is the whole. Means Krishna and his part and parcels together with the absolute. Not only Krishna, only his part and parcels. We are also part of the absolute. But we are different from Krishna. We are of the same substance, Brahman. Brahman means spiritual. Brahman means Satchit Ananda. We are eternal, full of bliss and knowledge in our liberated state. That's what we are, and we belong to the spiritual world where we serve Krishna. That's where we come from. But we did not agree to serve Krishna. And therefore, Krishna has put us in a special section of the spiritual world, the present section. That's where we are now. And that's it. Yes. Good. Text 24. Achedyanadayam, Mamaja, yeah. This is these two birds in the tree although the two birds are in the same tree, eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness, but enjoy of it. But if in some way he turns his face to his friend the Lord and knows his glory at once, the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. How do we turn our face to Krishna? Be linking up with devotion service. We recognize I'm a servant of Krishna again. I want Krishna, I made a mistake. I want to serve you. It's not so complicated. Simple thing. The soul cannot be destroyed by any weapon that we used. And then 2024. Achedayam Adayam Akritus Sushaiva Shanitya Sarvakata Stanur Acharyam Sananta. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither born nor dried. Is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So we can never match with Krishna, just can. But we can never become one homogeneous. After liberation from material condemnation, the soul may remain as a spiritual spark in the approach of the Supreme Lord, as a Brahman, or it can go to the spiritual planets to associate with them. So that's the Bhakti, those who practice Bhakti, they go to the spiritual world to associate with Krishna. Impersonals who want so-called to merge with Brahman, they go to Brahmajyoti. But that's temporary, as we discussed. And the process to go to the Brahmajyoti is Jnana Yoga, which we will discuss that. And also some yogis, they want to the Brahman. But the real yogi is the Bhakti yogi. It goes further. It goes to the spiritual world. And Krishna speaks in 8:21. We will discuss in the 8th chapter about the spiritual world. His Paramdhan. He will discuss and tell about the spiritual world to Arjuna. And then in the purport here, Srila Prabhupada says, Sarvagata, that all pervading. So souls are everywhere in this universe. So living entities are also on the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. And we will hear about it in the 4th chapter. Krishna will say to Arjuna, you have forgotten your past lives because you changed body, but I don't change body, therefore I don't forget. And previously, when I was explaining Bhagavad Gita to the sun gods, you were also there in the sun. Can you live with this body in the sun? No. So we have these bodies. But how is this body composed? This earth, how much percentage water is covering the surface? 70%. This body is made about 70% water. We get the body according to the planet where we are. But this is a body to live on the earth. You have bodies to live in the water, called fish. You have bodies to live in the air, birds. So Srila Prabhupada said there are also bodies to live in fire. That even on the sun is full of spirit souls. But Prabhupada says that so different bodies. You need a certain body to live on a certain planet. You cannot go to that planet and live there. It's not possible. That's not a process. The process is transmigration of the soul to go to the other planet. Because even what we see, we take as reality. What can we see? What we can see on the scale between ultraviolet and infrared. And besides that, we cannot see. But is there nothing to see beyond what range we can see? No. Yes, we know with instruments, we can see much more things that beyond infrared. Or the same with hearing. There is the supersonic and the subsonic. And we have only the range between. Like seeing, a vulture can see much better than you. That's yeah. And many dogs have better hearing than us. They hear supersonic. Yeah, these flutes bring supersonic sounds. We cannot hear, but immediately the dog knows. What's the value of our seeing, hearing to get knowledge? If we see only a part of the reality, that we hear from the Bible, demigods. Demigods, they have a subtle body, a special subtle body. Brahma has a causal body, body made of intelligence, much finer. We cannot see these bodies. And then you have ghosts and spirits, here we cannot see them. But they are there, they are all described in the Bible. So it's not by our seeing that's very popular with science. What we can see, we believe. And what we don't see does not exist. But the Bhagavatam describes a lot of living forms beyond that. 25. Avyaktoyama sinchuyam abhikaryam uchati tasma eva parinam nama shoisnemarasi. It is said that the soul is invisible, incorporeal, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve. 26. If however you think that the soul or the sins of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, Almighty arms. So Krishna is here taking the point of an atheist. There is no soul. Okay, then if there is no soul, we are just a bunch of chemicals, right? And who laments about the loss of certain bulks of chemicals? No one. So that is, yes, Krishna looks at it from different perspectives. Even if you don't believe in the soul, what's the use to lament? Who laments about some chemicals? His body comes to an end. But many think like that. When Prabhupada was in Moscow and he visited this specialist in Indologist, so-called Indologist, so-called specialist in Vedic literature. And Professor Potofsky said to Prabhupada, after death, everything is finished. But that was his comment. But anyway, he got some, still the mercy of having the association of Prabhupada. That mercy is long lasting. Because for 20 years I've been preaching in the Ukraine, 2 months every year. Now I'm only preaching to the internet. But last time I was in Lviv, at western Ukraine. A devotee was driving me from the apartment where I was staying to the temple. You know what he told me? It's incredible. He told me I'm the grandson of Professor Potofsky from Moscow, who met Prabhupada. That's what he said to me. He became a devotee. It's amazing, amazing. Prabhupada's mercy. That, no, the grandson. No, the grandson. That's verse 227. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after that is sure to take birth. Therefore, it is unavoidable discharge. It is in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So Krishna says, one who takes birth will die. That's sure. We experience that every day. But then it says, one who dies take birth. Many will say, yes, that's mythology. But our point here is prove that it is mythology. Prove it. They cannot. These are Krishna's words. That we have taken birth so many times. So in the prophecy, Prabhupada says is yes, this the cycle of birth and death does not support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. So, the fight for the right cause is the duty of the Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful acts, which he was so afraid. But if he would not fight, then he would get sinful reactions. He's not doing his duty. Karman epatikase maflesh katachan. We will hear this evening that one must do one's duty and not be attached to the results. But one should also not be attached to not doing his duty. That's aversion. Attachment of aversion is the same problem, positive, negative. So we have to be careful with that. We should not be averse to sense gratification. That's not good. We should not be attached to sense gratification either. We must be in a neutral position. It belongs to Krishna. And I'm eating, yes, and so on, to keep my body fit for service for Krishna. That's my reason why I'm reading, why I'm eating at that time. Anyway, text 28. Yeah. 28. Avyaktadini bhutani, vyaktamachyami bharatam, avyaktani dhanandiva tatraka paridevana. All the beings are unmanifest in the beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again and annihilated. So what is the need for lamentation? So Krishna said, you did not exist before you took birth in this body. And after the body is gone, yeah, it's the same situation as before. Why lamenting for what is between? So that is another approach that then we have 29. 29 is an amazing verse that Acharya vat pasat kasyate nam acharya vat vadati tatai sanya acharya vat srinam anya srimote shutvat vinam vedana chit. Some look at the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about it, cannot understand us all. So the soul is amazing. It's just 1/10,000th of a point of a hair, and you find it in the elephant, you find it in the spider, you find it in the human form. It's the same size. It's amazing, different bodies. And those who understand about the soul, it is very rare. These people are amazing. But many, even after hearing about it, do not understand it. And that's also amazing. That some people just can't understand it. That, at the end of the purpose, Srila Prabhupada says, the easiest process for understanding the subject matter of the self, however, is to accept the statements of Bhagavad Gita spoken by the greatest authority. Lord Krishna, without being deviated by other theories, but it also requires a great deal of penance and sacrifice, either in this life or the previous one, before one is able to accept Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna can, however, be known as such by the closest minds of the pure. Good. Yeah. So here, yeah. One who is qualified by penance and sacrifice can accept the statements of Bhagavad Gita, and by the mercy of the pure devotee, understand the soul. So these are the qualifications of understanding Gita. You must follow the four related principles, doing this penance, hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, performing service, and then you are qualified. If you do it under the instruction of a spiritual master, that good, the last verse for this section. De nityam avadiyam de savasya tasmat sarvani bhutani natham sustamaras. O son of Bharat, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore you need not to hate for any living being. So this section here is a section about jnana, knowledge of soul. This is Sankhya. Sankhya means analytical study of the difference between matter and spirit. And we had the verse the body changes from boy to youth to old age. And this is Sankhya, observing, analytical study. But we are different from it. But we have to tolerate that. That's, yeah. The material body has no practical existence in relation to the eternal soul. The body is something like a dream. That very important point. A dream. When you dream at night, and you get up in the morning, what do you think of the dream? Is it something very serious? No, I think it's just a dream, mental concoction. Of course, sometimes you may have spiritual dreams, something else. But usually a dream is but for the soul, so when we sleep, the subtle body is active, the mind is active, and the gross body is resting. But what Krishna is explaining here explains that also in the Bible. It's also in the Bible. This is the dream of the subtle body, but he experienced the dream of the gross body. That the gross body comes into existence at birth, at the beginning of the dream, and the dream goes on until the death of the body. Then the dream comes to its end. That's the dream of the gross body. When we dream at night, we say, oh, it's temporary. But while you were in the dream, you were attacked by a tiger, and it was very serious, a nightmare. In the same way, we think this body's life of the body is very serious, but it comes to an end. It's temporary, like in the dream. That it's not our real existence. Real existence. So the Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of the non-existent. Okay. See, yeah, the fact that atomic soul within the body of a gigantic animal in the body, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree, also in a microbic germs, millions and billions, which occupy only an inch of space, is so very amazing. All your blood cells in your body, you may not think about it. They are spirit cells. And they live for a moment and they die. It's horrible if you think about it, but it's very helpful. They are also in the evolution upwards to become then human beings later. That, yes.
We don't have one spirit soul, we have multiple spirit souls.
Millions of spirit souls, but one spirit soul is the owner of his body. That's us. Yes.
Every cell has a separate spirit.
Yeah. Don't meditate on it. You become mad. But it is a reality. It is a reality. Because the blood cell has also its life. It takes birth, it changes, and it dies. That everywhere where is a spirit soul are these changes of the body, 6 changes.
I thought that affected by one spirit.
No. We are the spirit soul, the owner of this body. Yeah, we are the master of this body, so called. Yeah, but there are many other spirit souls. It's the super soul controls. So, therefore, Sarvagata, spirit souls are everywhere.
Spirits are controlled not by the spirit soul, but by the super soul.
And super soul. Krishna You are speaking now, but the soul is only desired to speak. Krishna is speaking through your mouth. It's making all this possible, that the sound comes out of your mouth. But you desire to speak. Krishna is your kind to facilitate that. This is deep knowledge. And we need to realize. If you realize that, you see Krishna everywhere. That's reality. Krishna is in every atom, and between every atom. This Shilpa explains in Bhagavad Gita. In every atom and in between every atom. That keep on super soul control. That, yeah, that's reality. Good. Discharging one's specific duty in any field of action in accordance with the orders of higher authorities serves to elevate one to a higher state. So now this will be for this evening, that after this analytical study, Krishna will first speak about the duties of a Kshatriya, and his duty to execute the duties of a Kshatriya. And results if he does not do that. That's another level. And then he will speak about enjoyment. That Krishna, Arjuna said there will be no enjoyment. Then he will explain, yes, enjoyment. If you win the battle, you will enjoy an unrivaled kingdom. And if you die, you will enjoy heaven. So double enjoyment. Anyway, we will hear that. And after that, Krishna will start to speak about the principles of spiritual life. Then he will start to speak about how to act as a spirit soul. Now we have learned we are not a body. But then he will explain how to act as a spirit soul. That's called Buddhi Yoga, Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. We see each other at 4 p.m. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.